Chapter 3, SEO. The other piece of the puzzle when it comes to high-quality content is SEO. The chances are that you know what SEO is. SEO is a series of techniques that can be used to get a website to reach the top of Google. This stands for Search Engine Optimization. This is a topic that has been written about ad nauseam. The problem is that many of these blog posts, articles, and videos only serve to muddy the waters and create more confusion regarding precisely what SEO is all about. It's certainly true that SEO is changing all the time, and that it is multifaceted. This can make it difficult to know where to focus your efforts. But ultimately, there are two crucial ingredients for effective SEO and one important rule that binds them together. The ingredients are keywords, links, and the important rule is, provide value keywords. Google works by finding content and adding it to a huge database, index, where it keeps every single one of its links. When somebody searches for a phrase, Google then refers to that database in order to retrieve the most relevant, high-quality web page to attempt to answer the question. Keywords are what Google uses to recognize the content of a web page and thereby to know who to show it to. We want our website to be shown to as many people as possible, and so we should look for keywords that a lot of people are searching for. More often than not, this will mean looking for popular phrases and things that are currently trending. To show Google that our content is highly relevant to that keyword, we then need to lace our website with those keywords as much as possible. One way to do this is by repeating the phrase throughout our content. We don't want to overdo this though, or it will look like we're trying to spam the system. The best way to include keywords in content is to try and make the keyword often appear, while simultaneously avoiding doing too much. The best advice is to follow a rule of 0.5 to 2% density. That means that you should include a keyword once every 50 to 200 words. Be guided by what feels natural. If it is going to stand out to the reader as forced, then leave it out. It is far better to underdo your SEO than it is to overdo it. LSI, latent semantic indexing. Moreover, you should aim to use related terms and synonyms. This is what is referred to as latent semantic indexing or LSI. This is how Google looks for the kinds of increased use of specific phrases that would naturally occur in a post about a given subject. It's important for you to understand the subject you are writing about well so that you can naturally include all of the related terms and phrases that you would normally when writing in that niche. Note, this is also how you go about covering new ground when writing blog posts. We mentioned before how important it was to avoid writing derivative and overplayed content. The only way you can go about doing this is to make sure that the content you write is in a topic that you understand and you are passionate about. 9 other elements to optimize for search engines. There are also some particular areas in a post that benefit particularly from the use of keywords. These are 1. The title, 2. The first paragraph, 3. Headers throughout the text, 4. The last paragraph. You should also aim to use the keyphrases in the code and file names of your website. Useful ways to include this include 5 alt tags for images, 6. Meta description, 7. SEO title, 8. File names for images, 9. The slug of your web page. Should you only target one keyword or key phrase? It's okay to target more than one keyword, and in fact, a good strategy is to have one primary keyword along with a couple of secondary options. If you can do all this as much as possible without making it stand out obviously to the reader, then you will have effectively laced your content with keywords. If you're not sure of how to do this and you are using WordPress to run your website, then you can always try using a powerful tool called Yoast SEO, https://yoast.com/wordpress/plugin/yoast.com/wordpress/plugin/SEO. This plugin will look at the content of your blog posts, and it will highlight areas where your SEO could be better, by using more search terms in your opening and closing paragraphs, for example, or by using keywords in your headers. Source: Yoast. When using Yoast SEO, you shouldn't expect to reach a green status every single time. Some articles will have a great social media value, but won't lend themselves naturally to SEO. Other articles will have keywords that are difficult to fit into your content. The aim is simply to be aware of these methods and to tick all the boxes as often as possible. This is the mindset to have when performing SEO for your website and web pages. 3 types of keywords you need to know about. There are 3 types of keyword you need to know about. Short keywords, broad concepts, e.g. swimming. Medium keywords, narrowed down concept, e.g. swimming goggles. Long tail keywords, more specific again, e.g. swimming goggles for triathlon. Typically, short keywords are the hardest to rank for, followed by medium and then long tail. This is because there's less competition for long tail keywords. So, we'll be aiming mainly to target longer tail keywords with 2 to 4 words. How to find keywords using the Google Keyword Planner tool. Of course, there is one more step when it comes to building an effective SEO campaign using keywords, and that is to actually find the right keywords in the first place. How do you know what people are searching for? To do this, you can use Google's Keyword Planner tool. Step 1. Go to https://ads.google.com/home/tools/keyword-planner. https://ads.google.com/home/tools/keyword-planner. Step 2. Sign into your Google account. Step 3. Select the option that says Discover New Keywords. This option will search not only for a keyword or key phrase you enter, but Google will also show related keywords, too. Step 4. Enter a keyword. Step 5. Set your criteria. Choose whether to include brand names, set a language, and geographical location. These options may be useful if you are only targeting a specific country. Step 6. Click Get Results once set. Step 7. Browse through the keywords that Google has now presented you with. This tool is aimed at customers using Google Ads, but it can help you to get an idea of the volume of traffic looking for any given key phrase. The screenshot above shows the average monthly searches for swimming goggles is 10K, 100K. That means this key phrase gets searched 10,000 to 100,000 times each month. Other keyword research tools to consider: should you need more data, then you can pay for a third-party tool, though these are typically quite expensive. Here are 3 top keyword research tools. Keywordtool.io, https://keywordtool.io, https://keywordtool.io, moz, https://moz.com, https://moz.com, semrush, https://www.semrush.com. Which keywords should you go for? The aim is to look for keywords that have a high volume of traffic, but not too much competition. As with most things, the more established your site is, meaning it has domain age as well as lots of backlinks and tons of content, the more easily you'll be able to go after the highest ranking keywords. A great strategy then is to view this as a ladder. When starting out, go for the low-hanging fruit. Aim to get to the top of Google for those terms that are a little more obscure, but that could still get you a few hundred visitors per month. This will then help you to establish yourself a little in the eyes of Google, which will, in turn, then allow you to go after slightly more popular links. Another extremely important thing to consider is the matter of intent. Intent refers to the intention of the person searching for the key phrase. What are they looking for and why? This is very important because it is what will ensure you attract the right people to your website. For instance, someone might phrase a term differently depending on whether they want to buy something or just ask about it. Hats online and buy hats online are probably keywords that suggest a person is looking to buy a hat. If you have a hat store, then this can be a great way to get people to your site. But if you have an article that is all about hat style, then calling it hats online will likely mean you get the wrong type of person visiting your page. This can, in turn, mean that they leave that page very quickly, which in turn means your bounce rate will be high, meaning people leave your site before they have spent any time there. A high bounce rate significantly hurts your reputation in Google's eyes, and it means that Google will stop recommending your site when people search for related terms. It's not just about what you can rank for then, it's about understanding your visitors and what they might be looking for. Backlinks. Backlinks play three important roles in Google's systems. Firstly, they allow Google to find your content in the first place. Google trawls the web using programs called spiders or sometimes robots. These programs work by following links to move from one website to another. So by having as many backlinks to your website as possible, you make it easier for Google to find you and therefore put you in the index. At the same time, Google looks at links as another way to know what your site is about. If your site has lots of links coming from sites about fitness, then it will assume that your site is also about fitness. Finally, Google will look at links as testimony. Links suggest quality because people don't tend to share links to websites that they don't think are very good. The more backlinks you have to your site, the more Google will consider your site to be important and valuable. Much more importantly, though, Google will also want to see that your links are coming from pages that it already trusts. For instance, if you have a link from the BBC, Google will consider that to be endlessly more worthwhile than a link from a website that is full of spam. Looking for links that Google is known to trust is perhaps the single best way to increase your chances of climbing the ranks. One way to do this is to look for links with .edu and .gov TLDs. Another option is to look for the sites that Google commonly features in the SERPs. Finally, look at the top competition that you want to beat and then use a backlink checker that will show you the links point at that website. You can then try to get those same sites to link to you, as you know that they A, will give out links and B, can help you get to where you need to be. The best way to get backlinks from other sites? Guest post. That means writing a high-quality article for that website, then giving it to the website for free in exchange for a link that will point back to your website. This strategy has been used online for a long time, but it is still highly effective. Not only does this gain you a link back from a site in your niche that is high value, but it also helps you to build important relationships that can help you to succeed. You'll gain direct traffic from the recommendation that comes from being on a high-quality website. One more tip. If you are going to succeed at guest posting, and SEO in general, then your website needs to be high quality. This is another way to keep bounce rates low, but it also ensures that bloggers in other niches will want to work with you. Be honest with yourself, go and take a hard look at the very best/biggest blog/website in your niche. Can you honestly say that your website competes with that site in terms of presentation and content quality? A top creator is not going to want to link to you if your site is covered in ads, or if it looks like it was built in the GeoCities era, the early 00s, for those not familiar with their early websites. You need to look the part if you're going to succeed. And this plays out in another way too. Value. It's important to remember that Google serves the user. That is to say that Google is not interested in making life easier for blog owners. If your website provides valuable and useful information, then Google will want to share it with its visitors. Why? Because if Google's visitors constantly find the high-quality content they are looking for, if they consistently have a good experience when searching on Google, then they will want to do it more often. If Google's visitors find that the websites that get brought up are low quality, or that they don't contain the right information, mismatch between intent and content, then they will eventually stop using Google. That's why Google looks at key factors such as the amount of time spent on your website when determining your potential ranking. It's why Google favors brands over sites that focus purely on keywords, and it's why Google is now strongly emphasizing the importance of a website that loads quickly and that performs well on mobile. If your website is not mobile friendly, then fixing that limitation should be one of your chief concerns. This is why Google is constantly changing its algorithm. The algorithm defines how Google searches for content, and thus bloggers and site owners are constantly trying to second-guess it in order to unravel the secret formula to success. If only they can find out what Google is looking for, then they will be able to build successful web pages every single time. Google doesn't make its algorithms public though, and so SEO optimizers are left to guess. They will then often come to conclusions such as Google wants to see 3% density for keywords, or Google wants you to collect as many links as humanly possible. The problem is that Google will then invariably change the goalposts by altering its algorithm. Suddenly, collecting thousands of links without giving any regard to their quality is actually going to hurt your website's ranking. In fact, this precise thing happened once, and it led to many websites being completely removed from Google. This is called being de-indexed. Historic algorithm changes like this have put huge companies out of business and devastated entire industries. And those people trying to optimize their websites had only been doing what other companies had told them to do for marketing purposes. They had only been doing what they thought Google wanted them to do. Of course, this is a difficult subject. After all, this has seriously affected many people's lives, and Google's monopoly over search gives the company responsibility to businesses. But at the same time, Google never asked those businesses to try and game the algorithm. The company never came out and stated that people should be building links on low-quality websites. Those business owners that followed this approach simply missed the point, that Google serves the customer. We can't predict future changes to the algorithm, but we can guarantee that Google is trying to serve the visitor first, while also taking care of its own needs, by ensuring people stay on its own pages for longer. As long as you focus on delivering high-quality content on a well-designed website, and as long as your content answers the questions posed in the search terms, then your goals will be aligned with Google's, and you should benefit from future changes. Rich snippets. One more aspect to consider for your marketing is the use of rich snippets. Rich snippets show a higher quantity of information from your website, often with a bulleted list, or an image. These are used by Google to try and keep visitors on the SERPs for longer. Google ideally would love to cut out content creators altogether in order to retain that valuable traffic. Thus, Google's spiders can look for specific elements in your text and share those directly with visitors. These include things like dates and locations of events, as well as recipes, the answers to questions, and more. Here is an example of what a rich snippet search result looks like. You will see extra information such as rating, votes, cooking time, and calories. By using a special schema markup, you can communicate key elements to Google and ensure that Google chooses your page to highlight in the SERPs. This might lose you some traffic, seeing as people are now getting their cooking instructions without having to visit your page. But you will lose far less traffic than you would if another brand were chosen instead of yours. Moreover, this will help you to improve brand awareness and will lead to more visitors in the long term. Not sure how to implement schema markups? Then visit schema.org for the full documentation. Alternatively, there are plugins for WordPress that can help you with the process. This is one of the key features of modern SEO, so don't get left behind.